Okay. Well, first of all, I don't think I am a photographer. I just use photography as a medium. And yeah, I end up choosing photography because I always like images. I tried to paint, I couldn't. I was very bad in it. I thought I was good in drawing, but end up not be good in it either. And yeah, I like writing and I like a lot of colors. So photography gave me this power to kind of create images, and that's how I start making photographs and using them in a creative way. Um, I like epiphany. Epiphany is this moment of self-awareness, right? When you discover something about yourself that you didn't know before, and from that moment on, you're not the same person. I discovered that when I was in high school with my literature teacher who taught me about Clarice Lispector, who is a Brazilian writer that I like very much. And she writes a lot of epiphanies. There's a lot of epiphany in her literature. And yeah, I like epiphany because that's how I see myself, discovering myself all the time. I don't think anyone really know about yourself all the time. And I don't think one day you will know everything about yourself. So that's how I see epiphany. It's very challenging. It's very interesting. Makes me curious about it. I want to know and things, and it's all the most intimate thing that you have is yourself and your conscience, and you don't know it completely. So that's probably why I like it so much. In order to put epiphany in my photographs, I always try to catch someone, some sort of character, a persona. I was in a very thoughtful moment. If you have a look in my pictures, there's always someone, usually alone, thinking, and that's the epiphany happening. Yeah, my narratives are usually staged. I like to build the set before I shoot. I like to have control over everything. I like to control the light because I like artificial light. I think it's dramatic. I like to put drama in the photographs. That recalls theater, that recalls cinema, and that's what I like to see on my photographs as well. But they are not necessarily all staged, because sometimes I just see a narrative going on right beside me, and if I have a camera, I'll just shoot it. And after, I will take it on the computer and do some post-production to make it look more like me, more like I imagine it. Even though it was a real fact that happened, I like to manipulate it to look like I would like to see. And so that's it. They are half-half. I like to have control, and I tend to manipulate to control everything, to have a set. But if I can't do it, I would photograph a moment, and then I would make a narrative out of it. I have a big influence from books and films and music. Books. It's usually existentialist writers like Clarice Lispector that I mentioned before. I like Fernando Pessoa, Portuguese writer. I like Virginia Woolf. I like Franz Kafka. I like people like I don't like I usually tend to like people who don't write in a very linear, rational kind of way, because that's how the people I feel identification with. And yeah, I like David Lynch. I like his films. I like his light. I like his photography. And also I like his themes, very dreamy kind of films. And music is something constantly happening in my life. I just listen to music all the time. And I have a particular taste for like Scandinavian music for some reason. I like a lot of music from Sweden. Yeah, I don't tend to make photographs in a logical way because I don't think very logically. I don't think in a very linear way. The pictures are random. They happen at some point. If I have to have a picture done, if I have an equipment there, I have to bring it back and I have to take a picture before I bring it back, or if I have a space that is not gonna be available anymore, and then I try to, as fast as I can, set a narrative in there, set a picture in there. But the picture itself not necessarily has to be thought, has to be arranged, has to be planned. What is planned is the story. The picture is going to be mounted at the moment with whatever we have available, and that's how it's going to be. And usually I tend to do it and forget about it. I wouldn't go back to it. I wouldn't remake it. I would try to get it done at first, and then if I don't like it, I would completely destroy the picture. I wouldn't look at it again. I usually work in many projects at the same time, because I don't go constantly. I don't concentrate in one and go for it until I get it done. I don't even, like, some projects could have a deadline. Some other projects are endless. They're gonna happen forever because it's just an evolution of myself on the pictures. And for instance, I have one project there's a deadline. It's gonna finish in October 2011. And I have there's one for the show, Standing in the Presence of Fear. I don't have a deadline for it. It's gonna happen until I get it. I think it's done. No, the people on the photographs, they are not actors, even though they are acting. They are all my personal friends. I don't hire them. I just ask them to do something for me. They know they know which kind of pictures I like. Sometimes we are together in a space and I just spot a piece of space somewhere where I think would be nice to shoot a photograph, and I just try to create one of my narratives going on there, and I just ask someone to go and pose. And I tend to say the person how to pose, what to do, sometimes even what to wear, where to look. It's usually, I like dark space as well, so I tend to use a lot of longer exposures, which makes my work harder, but it's just the way I like to see the pictures. About the equipment, I don't care which kind of camera is going to be. I don't care. I have my preferences, of course, but only because I'm familiar with it. I know how to use it, but I don't care about the camera or the lens, or if it's going to be analog, digital. I have a fascination for film negatives, but it's getting harder and harder and harder to use them. So I kind of stick in digital, which is easy and cheaper, and I just go and it's easier to manipulate. But I still like a lot about the analog process. I like the way negative look. I like the way the prints look. The series that we're gonna have here, Standing in the Presence of Fear, it's based on a book, Clarice Lispector's book, The Passion According to GH, or A Paixão Segundo GH in Portuguese. This book has a lot of epiphany and has a lot of self-awareness. It's very existentialist, it's very philosophical, sensitive observation of the person itself. And that's how I feel most of the time. That's a personal identification that I have with Clarice Lispector in that book. And the translation to English is not very good. It's not a happy translation in my opinion, because it's not necessarily fear. Okay, we humans tend to be terrified of everything that we don't know, and that's fear. But in self-awareness, self-discovery, epiphany can be something that you don't know, and of course you're going to be afraid of it. But it's more about the amazing, the shock, the moment of self-discovery that can be so strong that will change your life completely. You will never be the same person. And that moment of shock it's what I try to project on the photographs. It's more a shock than a feeling of fear. Right now I'm working in three projects. I have three things going on. I have a project of a little book. It's a book about narrative photography. I dream about making a short film, and at the same time I would love to start some course in narrative photography and make this bigger. I'd like to share these thoughts with other people, and I would like to, of course, I would like to get to know more people interested in the theme.